All my girls with me. All my girls bossy ride with me, I'm a savage. All my girls bossy, if they want it, they can have it. I ain't giving till I get the baby. Ride with me. All my girls with me. All my girls bossy ride with me, I'm a savage. All my girls bossy, if they want it, they can have it. I ain't giving till I get the baby. Ride with me. All my girls with me.
Two sides staring down the barrel of completely opposite starts to the season. A rematch of last year's semi-final, a game that saw the victory completely dismantle the Brisbane Roar in a 6-2 demolition as they stormed their way to their second ever championship. The Victory have kicked off their title defence in perfect fashion, cruising to a 5-1 win over Adelaide United in round one before taking out their crosstown counterparts and rivals, Melbourne City, last week 2-1. But now they make their first away trip for the season as they take on the Brisbane Roar here at Moreton Daily Stadium. A Roar side looking to bounce back after a tumultuous and heartbreaking start to their season, losing their opening two fixtures, both home and away, to the Perth Glory, who hadn't won a competitive game in 651 days prior to their back-to-back meetings. A good crowd here on the western stand at Moreton Daily Stadium. No one in the eastern stand, all piling in here, and what an absolutely stonking day it is here in southeast Queensland. Plenty of familiar faces in the crowd as well, but we'll have a look at how Gareth McPherson lines up his side prior to this one. Katrina Gorry starts her first game back from giving birth to the beautiful Harper in August. A sensational story, and great to see the Roar's number 10 back in the fold. The youngster who impressed last week, Nia Stamatopoulos, makes way for her and is expected to make a cameo off the bench. New signing Izzy Folletta also comes into the fold for the first time in Roar colours after spending some time in Italy with Lazio. She'll be on the bench for today's matchup as Ish Norrie leads out the side in the centre of the park against her former team. Plenty of talent in that lineup, a young building squad. Amy Jackson is unavailable after a match she'd like to forget last week. An own goal and a red card sees her miss out on a trip north. Alana Murphy plugs the defensive gap made by the absence of Morrison, and Jackson should be looking to stamp her authority on this side. An almost cursed position at the moment for the Melbourne Victory. Superstar American Lynn Williams makes her first start for the Victory as Privatelli drops deeper into to fill the Chidiac-size hole in midfield. For the Roar, I suppose they'll be quite upset with how they've started the season. Obviously, first game of the season away at Macedonia Park over there on the West Coast. They dominated for most of the game, didn't get the result in the end. Late drama there, and last week as well, more late drama, another own goal. The Brisbane Roar not finishing the way they wanted to start, I guess.
No, that's right, and this is stacking up to be a very exciting game as we see kickoff just underway here, with both teams entering, as you mentioned, with polar opposite results. Victory coming in with a perfect start, 2 from 2, scoring 7 goals, and Brisbane Roar the opposite, really, still without a point, and probably a start you don't want to have. They have more own goals than actual goals, Ken.
Second lowest conversion rate of any side in the competition as well. Western Sydney Wanderers, the only side worse than them, and we are live here in round 3 of the Liberty A-League Women's at Moreton Daily Stadium. Campbell Johnson and former Matilda Amy Chapman alongside you for the call up here in Queensland, and has really, I think, turned a lot of heads in these opening few rounds of the season, Amy.
Yeah, Jessie Rashart's been a real standout for Brisbane. She's certainly got quite a bit of pace. The coach of Brisbane Roar was mentioning she's clocking well over 34 kilometres per hour, which is not far off the men's. So very, very impressive. And look, she's not had a lot of time at this level, but she's certainly showing she's very capable.
She did really well last week at cutting off those runs from Gemma Crane, and she'll be looking to do the same here with the firepower that the Victory have. Is Hecker in towards Crummer. Dumont coming out to claim against her former side. A good little counter there from Gareth McPherson's girls.
Sprightly start from Brisbane, and they'll, of course, be lifted by the presence of Katrina Gorry in her first start, as you mentioned, pre-game, since giving birth in August. And she's going to look to increase her minutes, and she's certainly a real asset to have for Brisbane Roar.
It's a lovely ball from Huffenden as Margraf now with a chance to make it 2 for the season. Saved well by Dumont, but the Raw are all over the victory in these early stages. And Gorry from range, nowhere near the target, and Margraf has to score that one there, Amy Chapman.
Yeah, that's a coach killer, that one. So much time to make a decision, and not traditionally found in one-on-one positions is Anna Margraf, but she'll be very disappointed. And from Melbourne Victory's side, you could drive a truck through those back two right now, so certainly some concerning signs for them.
It's managed to stay in, and Crummer. Gorry, lovely first touch there, just to play it inside for Margraf, and Dumont reading it well, and the crowd giving their best rendition of Wham.
And that's what you want from your number 10s, as we see Katrina Gorry breaking the line here. Lovely first touch on the Harvey Norman replay, and a beautiful early ball in. It was the right decision, just had a little bit too much on it.
Cooney cross. Murphy. Withers out wide now. Delivering, lovely ball. Worth able to punch away. Margraf with it inside the box. Under pressure. Barbieri. Have a look at the Harvey Norman replay. Looks like Withers just had to check. Lineswoman on the near side wasn't in the way for the cross there.
Withers getting into some good areas, and that's a really strong delivery, and Georgie Worth up to the challenge with a strong 2-foot punch.
Lovely ball from Hecker. If Connors can get in front of Doran, she can, winding up and over the target. We've seen her take plenty of shots already in this Liberty A-League women's season, and that another one, she's just unable to convert. Polly Doran, as we have a look on the Harvey Norman replay, coming across strongly, allowing the more attacking players to burst forward, and here's one in Lynn Williams. Withers keeping it in play. Delivering with the left, it's a lovely ball, and Williams gets her second of the season in her first start in the Melbourne Victory Navy.
What a delivery from Harriet Withers, and of course, who was there? Lynn Williams does not miss with a pin-perfect cross here from Harriet Withers, as we have a look on the Harvey Norman replay. On her left foot, cuts back, and wonderful header. Lynn Williams is not going to miss from there.
That is the perfect area to put it for your forwards. Harriet Withers, sensational ball inside. Doing really well to fake out Ishinory. Withers making the run. Zimmerman can't find her, but it makes its way there. For a few blocks, and Cooney cross. Patient on the ball. About 3 minutes to play. Barbieri winding up here, going wide of the target. And the drums still beating for the Raw. Their supporters want them to snag one before half-time, but at the moment, doesn't look like it's coming. We have another look here on the Harvey Norman replay. Barbieri, not a whole way off, but not close enough. Lovely switch there to Brivatelli. The Victory just slowing things down. Hold on for half-time, and spring when they need to, as Withers back inside. Connors, can he get out of traffic, wins the foul, but that is half-time here at Moreton Daly Stadium. Melbourne Victory leading this one 1-0 over the Raw. Lynn Williams, the difference maker so far. Brie Catano now onto the field. Katrina Gorry leaving, whereas we were told before the game, Key Catano is now in there, and she'll have a big part to play in this second half.
Yeah, there's some big shoes to fill, or probably tiny shoes to fill for Katrina Gorry, but certainly her presence on the field. But Catano, a very capable young Japanese player, been around in the NPL for a few years now, and certainly a very skillful player who can bring a lot in that number 10 position.
Melbourne Victory really resolute at the back. Courtney Nevin slotting in from fullback into centre back, as we've seen her play for the Matildas. As the ball in now for Withers, making its way all the way across the defence. Georgie Worth unable to clear, and Harriet Withers gets a goal and an assist in this game.
What a start out of the sheds for Melbourne Victory, as we see Lynn Williams just winning that one-on-one battle there with Cannon and delivering again. It's another floating ball. Georgie Worth will be disappointed she's not cleared that one, and you do wonder if the sun has played a bit of a part.
I think it's fair to say Anna Margraf stepping out, taking that one over. Can the Raw get back into this one? Cooney Cross doing well to close her down. And that one off target from the Raw.
It's a cheap turnover for Melbourne Victory there, and Anna Margraf in a country mile of space there. Probably left that shot a little bit late there, and Cooney Cross recovery run was enough to put her off. And as we mentioned, that first half and opportunities that have costed Brisbane Roar. Anna Margraf definitely had the best of all of them. As we look at that replay, she's crumbled under the pressure of Cooney Cross there and not got the connection whatsoever. But Margraf was certainly the best opportunity in the first half, with a very clear one-on-one with under very little pressure. So Gareth McPherson, those kind of opportunities change games.
Withers playing a lovely ball in for Lynn Williams, looking to make it 3. Just putting it wide, and that was pinpoint perfect from Harriet Withers.
Again, the Withers-Williams combination up front here. A great through ball and beautifully timed run from Williams. We know she's got pace, and as does Rashenden, and the two defenders for Brisbane Roar doing just enough to recover there.
Well, you wouldn't know that the Melbourne Victory up 2-0 if you're Jeff Hopkins. He has not stopped screaming at his players to move in a position for the last 20 or 30 minutes. So he's certainly keeping his players honest at the moment.
There's Clough reading that one well. And is that a trait you perhaps saw in your time under Jeff Hopkins?
Yeah, definitely. He's certainly a perfectionist, and he's very, very passionate, usually with a bag of lollies in his hands before the game as well, getting his glucose up.
Some snakes maybe, some teeth even.
Exactly. Probably trying to support the amount of vocal work he does from the sidelines there. But as I mentioned, he's a percentage man, as we see a breakaway here for Brisbane.
Connors drifting offside, and once again for the Raw, unable to make it happen. And the Raw fans will be pulling their hair out at this stage, getting their hopes up, getting in good positions, just unable to do anything with it.
You can hear the sigh of frustration from the fans, and I'm sure Gareth McPherson as well. Just the decision-making in that final third. Should Shay Connors have made that run, clearly being in an offside position? Should Larissa Crummer have played that? Definitely not. So again, the decision-making for Brisbane is costly.
There's plenty more to play in this game, and they give away the foul, do the Raw. And perhaps need a few red frogs for their own energy. As we have another look on the Harvey Norman replay, Larissa Crummer feeding it in for the American, who clearly drifts onside. You probably want her to stick to Polly Doran there, just so she knows where the offside line is. Williams dropping deep to collect for the Victory. Have been superb in this second half, giving away the ball too early, or too easy at times, I should say. The Cooney Cross showing her class. The Raw have to throw everything at this if they want to get back into the game. The Victory just happy to sit back. Catano making the run. It's all the way over the top. Lovely run by Shay Connors. First touch, tucking it away for her first goal of the season. And Shay Connors gets back to scoring ways. Halves the deficit for the Raw. And the American finally gets her goal.
What a great run in behind, and a super ball from Jessie Rushart there. This is the places you want Shay Connors in a one-on-one position, and she doesn't miss those. She's had many, many opportunities, but a super finish. Casey Dumont perhaps a little late off her line here, but well placed from Shay Connors, and that will mean the world to her. She can score goals, and does this mean the world to Brisbane? Can they turn this game around?
Zimmerman forward for Williams. Clough marking. American on American. Mariel Hecker coming across to provide assistance. Cooney cross. Laying it off. Making some spaces. Murphy creeping and creeping wide. There for the victory. Starting to build their way back into the game. Obviously in the lead. Have probably had less opportunities in this first half. Second half, I should say. Georgie Worth not troubled in the end.
Yeah, and Jeff Hopkins will be looking for these senior Victory players to just get on the ball, slow the game down a little bit. They are in the lead and they need to take control again. They had plenty of possession in the first half, had the better of the possession, perhaps not quite as many opportunities, but as I mentioned, once you get the ball to that front three, they're really dangerous, particularly when Lynn Williams gets the ball facing forward.
Must be said as well, obviously, Dumont wearing the cap now. The sun not favouring her as much on that end of the pitch. Crummer back inside, taking the strike, drifting just over. It was a good hit from Larissa Crummer. Got the wedge out, just lofted over the target.
It was the right decision there from Crummer to take the strike, not the correct execution in the end, but from Jeff Hopkins' point of view, why is Larissa Crummer in so much space? She's gone for the little chip on the Harvey Norman replay over Casey Dumont, just didn't get the height right.
Perhaps that sunlight just harming the distribution of Dumont. Haffenden, the Raw sparking now. Energy has lifted. Margraf heading it back towards Connors. Hits it, creeps, scores! Connors has two, but she's ruled offside. She's livid with that. And I'm not entirely sure. The header back in by Anna Margraf is a good finish from Shay Connors nonetheless, and the Raw pounding on the door. Upon replay, just drifted offside. Jamila Rankin making way for Izzy Folletta. And the Raw, another opportunity. Polly Doran, Connors winning it back, opening it up for herself. Catano takes a touch on its way through and goes wide. They want a corner, and they do get one in the end. Marie Catano.
Catano's been lively since she's come on, and I thought Polly Doran had the better of Shay Connors for the majority of the game, but Shay Connors has certainly grown in confidence after that goal. She's everywhere for Brisbane, and she could be the game changer. As we see Claire Polkinghorn again, a familiar face in the crowd, and she's talking to Tegan Micah, of course, two well-known Matildas, homegrown Brisbane Matildas as well, gathering here to support the home team.
It's a lovely ball from Ishnori. Out to Shay Connors. Doesn't have much assistance nearby. Does really well to get around Doran and play a ball centrally for Hecker. Gets underneath it, but just a bit too much. And the Raw starting to build here with just over 10 minutes to play. Shay Connors doing really well to cut around Polly Doran, and lovely ball inside. Markowski bursting forward for the victory. Talented young forward. Has won NPLW Young Player of the Year in the past, and now a chance for Lynn Williams, spooning it over the top. A foul given against her in the end as we go down to Jono Williams.
Well, Raw coach Gareth McPherson really wanted to make the most of this Brisbane Heat and really take the victory side into some deep waters. You could probably say that the Heat are the ones finishing the stronger as we head into the final 10 minutes. Whether they can find that other goal, though, is, I guess, the big question. This crowd, well, they are absolutely baying for another goal.
We haven't even mentioned Privatelli. She's been excellent at the left-back position here. Traditionally scored 2 goals for victory, but now in defence.
As Williams showing her class, centres for Zimmerman and puts it to bed, puts the nail in the coffin. and sends the Victory 3-1 up.
And that is the quality of Melbourne Victory. That is all it takes. Not much of an opportunity. Lynn Williams had at least 3 to beat here. She's certainly showing her pace on Folletta there and turns them inside out 3 times. Cannon Clough, way too much space there for Zimmerman, but what a clever little drift off here for a classy finish. Georgie Worth had no chance.
How do you approach this, A, if you're Jeff Hopkins, and B, Gareth McPherson?
Yeah, I think Jeff has a deserved three wins on the trot, and they will cement themselves at the top of the table, most likely with their goal difference, as we see Crummer
in behind, saved well by Dumont. The second effort, a consolation perhaps for the Brisbane Roar, as they push hard for a late one here, and perhaps some complications right at the end, and it will be a goal. They get one back right at the end. Lovely ball over the top, I believe. Rashid. Crummer trying until the end. Gets around Nevin. Good save by Dumont. Can't do anything about the second. And they make it 2-3. Perhaps a consolation at this point. Still with a minute or 2 to play. The energy will lift once again for the Roar. Now it looks to be well and truly game management territory for Melbourne Victory, as we have another look on the replay. Crummer doing really well.
Just looks like Nevin got on the wrong side of that one, and Larissa Crummer staying in the fight and lucky to get a second bite at that one. Casey Dumont did well initially, and a great little volley finish from Crummer.
With 5 goals scored in this one so far, that makes it now 19 goals in the last 3 games between these two sides, so it's entertainment. You get your money's worth on the admission between these two sides. All excitement.
Can't complain about a 5-goal thriller here today, and of course Melbourne Victory top of the table and cementing Brisbane at the bottom, no doubt.
This may be the last kick of the game. Some time should be added on after the complication just after the goal, but it's do or die for the Roar. They have to give this everything now. They may get the opportunity here. Crummer, the crowd is lifting. Nevin able to clear. Laura Lee looking at the watch. Long throw in from Rashard. Cleared just for the moment. Norrie fighting. Hecker heading it down. Haffenden back into the mix. Norrie still fighting, and that is full time here at Moreton Daly Stadium. A thrilling end to this one in a 5-goal thriller. Lynn Williams, sensational, the American. What a game between these two sides. It always promises goals. The Brisbane Roar with their 3rd loss on the trot, and the Melbourne Victory steaming on as they look to defend their championship with a 3rd win in a row. The scores end 3 goals to Melbourne Victory and 2 to the Brisbane Roar.